we knew it was going to be bad. I said it was going to be bad. A lot of people said it was going to be bad. But I don't think, just like The Flash, this time around it wasn't quite as shocking, but I don't think people expected this much of a decline in just the opening week. Indiana Jones and the Dialysis of Disappointment, the only way you could put it. A lot of people have started to start calling this movie Indiana Jake rather than Jones because, you just have that Jake character, has just created at the box office. Its opening week was abysmal, but I am not always one to come out like the tongue crier and start to say, well, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so, all of that. Sometimes I will do it if it is that, it warrants the situation. But I decided, you know what, let me sit back, wait a little bit, let the first week run its course. We had, in the United States, it had Independence Day, which was July 4th. Maybe a few more people might go to the cinemas and stuff, might pick up a little bit. I decided, okay, let's give it that time and take a look and see what's happening and what's actually going on with it. All right. I decided to give it that time and take a look. So it's now officially passed a few days after Independence Day, July 4th, which means that the numbers will be in now for it. So we'll have a better understanding of what's going on. So let's take a look at the numbers for Indiana Jones and the Dialysis of Disappointment. Now, first I need to be perfectly clear here. I have not seen these numbers yet. The first time I'm going to be looking at these numbers is as I'm making this video. Let's take a look at these numbers. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. 158 million? Almost 159 million? This movie's been out, like a weekend change? Look at the domestic box office. 89 million. International box office, 69 million. Nobody's watching this shit. Good Lord, that is an embarrassment, boy. There was a time you would have never seen an Indiana Jones movie reach to this, but Lord Almighty. No, let me be perfectly honest with you. I have absolutely no intention of watching this movie. None. I've said so from the beginning. I have no intention of watching this movie. I think that this movie is a complete and utter embarrassment to have ever been made. I still say that the first three Indiana Jones movies were fantastic. When the third one ended, that was how the franchise should have ended, right there and then. They made Crystal Skull, which incidentally actually made more money than this, but move on with that. Now, from the people who have actually seen it, I've heard some reviews, I've heard some things, and the vast majority of them hate the damn thing. I actually heard one person say that they would rather watch The Flash 3 times than watch this. And I hated The Flash. No, that Flash was a crappy movie. You understand me? But they actually said they would rather watch The Flash 3 times than watch this. And that person also thought The Flash was absolute and utter garbage. Now, there are some people who like it. And if you like it, okay, no problem for you. What you like is your business. All right. But what I have come to realize from the people who claim to like this movie is that they're doing the same thing that they did when talking about Little Mermaid. They gloss over the details of it and they say that, yeah, it feels like an Indiana Jones movie. The music is good and some of the action and thing is nice. That's it. They don't talk about the actual, essence of the movie at all. And then also, they either do one of two things. They either don't mention Phoebe Waller-Bridge at all, who just completely ruined this movie from what I heard from literally everybody else. You just ruined this movie. You understand me? Or secondly, and I actually saw one person who did a review do this, struggling to find words to describe Phoebe Waller-Bridge that weren't insufferable, annoying, ridiculous, had no part in this movie, nothing. The person was literally struggling to find a single word to say anything good about her or about her character in this movie. So that's so that you all know, people, all those Tomb Raider fans out there, yeah, you're pretty much screwed at this point. You're screwed. You're screwed. But this is an embarrassing number by 158 million worldwide. And this has a, look at it here, a production budget of over 300 million. Why are they spending these large amounts of money on this crap? We get into this article here from Bounding into Comics. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny bombs at the box office. Only 9% of moviegoers heard it was good from friends and family. That is not good at all. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny cratered during its opening weekend at the box office. According to the numbers, the film only grossed 60 million domestically in its 3-day opening weekend, another 70 million internationally for a global gross of 130 million. Now, this was then, right? This was then. Look at the numbers now, right? As they say here, 130 million. It's now at 158 or 159 million. So it hasn't made any kind of substantial money at all. And considering, as I said, there's literally an over $300 million budget for this movie, they're screwed. They're literally screwed. I talk about how the movie fell short of its opening weekend, and people were actually predicting the movie was going to make like $70 to $77 million on its opening weekend. That didn't happen at all. Understand me? It just completely and utterly kept getting destroyed. Comparing the film to other Indiana Jones films, the movie failed to best the last film in the franchise, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That film grossed $100.1 million in its opening weekend, on its way to $317.1 million domestically and $786.6 million globally. It was also way back in 2008. Yeah, so we haven't had an Indiana Jones movie since 2008. And the reason I think Crystal Skull did so well is that people wanted, and when we see people heard that they were getting an Indiana Jones movie again, they were ecstatic. They rushed to go and see. They wanted to see what was going to happen. You understand me with it? But Crystal Skull was not fantastic at all. But what I understand was leaps and bounds better than this crap. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade also beat Dial of Destiny when adjusting for inflation. Its $37 million opening back in 1989 translated to $90.8 million in 2023 dollars. Temple of Doom, $25.3 million opening in 1984, also trounced Dial of Destiny in 2023 dollars. That's a $74.1 million opening. As for why the film did so bad, it appears audiences did not like it despite an 88% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, which calls into question the reliability of the Fandango-owned website. Well, Rotten Tomatoes has no problem playing ball with anybody. I mean, if you look at it here, right, 88% audience score, 69% critics score, you understand? But it's still bombing hard at the box office. So Rotten Tomatoes has no problem playing ball because they have literally come out and admit that they changed their scoring quota for Captain Marvel in order to literally kiss Disney's ass. So they're not really want to take too seriously at all. Deadline reports that the ComScore Screen Engine post-track exit poll reveals that only 9% heard it was good from friends and family. The movie Cinema Score also came in at a paltry B+ for comparison. Fast X also received a B+, and The Flash received a B. The Flash was garbage. The film also received a 6.9 weighted rating on IMDb. Okay. Box office analyst OMB Reviews noted the box office haul is abysmal. This is awful. Yes, this is absolute doom for them. Absolute and utter doom. He then shared every Indiana Jones film, including the not-to-be-counted Crystal Skull, made over $1 billion when you adjust the numbers for inflation. Every single Indiana Jones film, this movie at this point would be lucky to get to 400 million internationally. No, let me just stop there and say, at this rate, 158, almost 159 million. And other movies coming out, especially when it is, you'll see Mission Impossible hit cinemas. This movie ain't going to make no kind of money at all because nobody's going to watch it. You understand? Nobody's going to watch it. It's dropping it's dropping at an alarming rate. You understand me? It's not doing anything it should have done. Was it July 5th? A 53% drop. You understand me? This movie is pretty much done at this point. It's an abysmal state for an Indiana Jones movie to be in. We'll continue here. Meaning not only will it be the worst performing Indiana Jones film, but also it will be not just the biggest box office flop of the entire franchise, but possibly of the year, maybe even the past several years. He then go on to talk about how the film predicts the film will barely get to 400 million worldwide. I then know that even if it does get to 400 million, that would mean the film would still be around a 250 plus million loss. This movie going to lose well over 300 million and more. Because if you literally had a budget of over 300 million for this movie, and you can't even make it to 200 million, and you have to adjust these numbers and all kind of thing, this is an embarrassment. Literally embarrassment. You also go on to say 400 million worldwide would be a best case scenario if the film is only getting barely getting to 200 million domestic. By that weekend, that would mean a best case scenario would be 400 million. But I mean, it hasn't made any kind of money there at all. Nothing to talk about. But this is an embarrassment for an Indiana Jones movie. You see, what these companies have to realize is that audiences are waking up to what's happening. You just want to bring back these movies to tear down these actors. Have pushing some brunette British lady who's just going to spend the entire movie insulting the male lead. Because what I've come to understand, and I say in the reviews I've heard from people, Indiana Jones starts off this movie as a bum and ends the movie as a bum. That's it. That's all he's doing. Because some old man who wanted to yell at his neighbors for playing music too loud. Nobody wants to see an old Indiana Jones. Don't get me wrong, Harrison Ford still looks fantastic. But the minute you push in Phoebe Waller-Bridge and start doing a bunch of crap that nobody cared about, what were you expecting? You gave Kathleen Kennedy this movie to ruin after she's already ruined Star Wars, and you really thought you were going to make any kind of money on this? I mean, my God, look at this number. It's almost 159 million. That's all you've made. This is an embarrassment. This movie should have well be over. If the movie was good, this movie should have well be over 300 million and rising by now. No, it will be lucky if it makes it to 200 million, and it does look like it will. You have embarrassed yourselves royally with this, and you have nobody to blame for it but yourselves. Lucasfilm destroyed Star Wars, destroyed this, destroyed Willow or whatever. They just keep destroying everything, and they don't want to stop. So there we have it. Indiana Jones and the Dialysis of Disappointment is a massive box office flop and a complete and utter embarrassment for Lucasfilm and Disney, and they damn well deserve it. You know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell. You're notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.